Hello and welcome to an exclusive interview on ET Edge Insights. Today, we have a very special guest with us, Mihir Shukla. Mihir, thank you for taking the time out and speaking to ET Edge Insights. It's a pleasure to host you.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Mihir. Mihir, before we get into the depth of the conversation, let us begin with a very basic question. What is Agentic AI?
Yeah.
And when we talk about APA, that is your Agentic Process Automation, how is that platform different from other automation platforms?
That's a great question. Lately, everybody is using the term AI agents, but not all AI agents are created equal. So we see them in three different varieties. You see a personal productivity AI agents that helps you with your email and summarizing tasks and things like that. They are useful, but its impact is small compared to the full potential of the technology. Then you have captive AI agents that are specific to a specific system,
Right.
like a CRM system, an ERP system, and they do specific work by itself within that system. The third class of AI agents, which are the AI agents that can go across application and across departments.
Right.
That is what Automation Anywhere provides. And those are the most capable, most impactful AI agents.
Right.
And they can transform an entire department, entire processes. And we use the term called the rise of the autonomous enterprise. Take any department, for example, finance, and make 40% of finance full autonomous with no human in the loop. Or take a tax department and make 90% of the tax department autonomous. So this third class of agents is what holds the most promise and a true transformative power for the organization.
Right. Very interesting. Now that you've mentioned about the critical benefit of APA, but I'm sure there must be a challenge for organizations who already have a set system in place, legacy system or what they're currently using. So how does APA fit into that, or does it replace it, or does it collaborate and do things better?
Yeah, that's a great question too. I think unfortunately we have operated in the silos in terms of all the different applications.
Right.
Often a large enterprise could have hundreds and sometimes thousands of this application. But the real work happens between all of this application. So the power of APA, Agentic Process Automation, is to break silos and operate processes across this application and get work done within a matter of seconds at times. I think this brings an entirely new paradigm of how we need to be thinking and not think in silos. APA is the new application that sits on top of the system of record. It's the new UI. AI is the new UI, as people say it.
Well said.
It will change the experience for employees and customer alike. You don't have to go between 8 applications and click everywhere. It's the future of work.
Right. Very interestingly, you said, although we have seen in the past, the collaboration between AI and automation is not something new, it has happened. But interestingly, come APA, we're looking at an enterprise level. So any particular used case where the collaboration, because there is one concern that how will humans collaborate with this new applications? Or is there any use case you want to talk about where this has actually benefited an organization?
We have about 300 million AI-driven processes running. So many to mention. But the larger point is that they are happening across every industry and virtually every country. Let's take an example of something that we all can relate to, which is a loan processing. Today, that process at best takes days with various steps involved, and it goes through so many systems and approvals. Now, with Agentic Process Automation, you can stitch that entire process together with series of technologies, including creating AI agents that will verify eligibility and various other aspects. And you can process a loan within 3 minutes or less.
Fabulous.
Imagine on healthcare claims or insurance claims. Imagine being able to compute taxes completely autonomously by applying set of rules to it. In healthcare, I can go on across every single industry. You find amazing possibilities. One particular example I want to draw your attention is In manufacturing, we are seeing a significant rise of AI agents. In light of the current tariff worlds that we all live in, we are seeing an exponential rise of AI agents that can help you identify replacement parts or the replacement suppliers. And the fact that with that agility you are able to look for alternatives across the world is a power that only an AI agent can do. It will be impossible to replicate that with people.
Right. So one thing that comes out from this discussion we've had is that here AI is actually freeing human beings to innovate and think rather than, that concern we think that is it going to replace human beings. So this is what you've clearly specified. Now coming to another aspect, obviously when something new comes to the fore, there is training and skilling required obviously to embrace that technology and take it forward for operational efficiency.
Of course.
So what kind of skilling is required for the employees or the people working to implement this APA system in an organization?
I think reskilling the workforce has to be center of this conversation. We know that this AI economy will require 11 million new jobs. And it is not like there are 11 million people on some other island that we don't know about. These are all the people we have. So it is important to retrain them so that they are available to lead this revolution. Automation Anywhere, we have made commitment to reskilling. Through our initiative in Automation Anywhere University, we have trained over 1 million people on AI skills.
No, that's fabulous.
And automation skills all over the world, in rural parts of India and Africa and in 90 other countries. And what we have learned is something remarkable. We saw that within 3 months, we were able to take somebody who was flipping burgers in a burger joint and now able to create AI agents 3 months later with a significant different job profile. The fact that today's tools and capabilities can allow this kind of an upward movement for a person is a remarkable opportunity. Often these people can't go for a 4-year degree. The situation doesn't allow them. So what a great way to include everybody in this revolution.
Right. So my next question, which you have already answered a bit of it, preparing a workforce for the future.
Yes.
So as you already talked about the university where you're skilling people. So going forward, 5 years down the line, how do you see a workforce that is completely able to embrace and empower autonomous operations and obviously working in an enterprise level?
That's right. I think in next 3 to 5 years, the world will be a very different place. Because these technologies are moving at a pace and capability that is unprecedented. In many areas, we are able to process work that 1,000 people do over a year in matter of hours. So this is an exponential technology. It will transform. What is important for enterprises and individuals to realize is to understand there are certain kind of work or task, they will go away. Instead, there will be different kind of problems that you have to work on. Today, we don't run next to a car because it's pointless. There are certain places where machine does better.
Absolutely.
And there are certain, but we drive a car. So the key role for the human being is to sit on the driving seat of the AI and drive the AI.
Very true.
And the sooner people realize and adopt this technology, the better they will be prepared for the world that is ahead of us. One of the things that we are observing as we work with about 173 universities worldwide is more and more people are acquiring multiple skills as opposed to just a single degree. They are combining economics and computer or rock climbing and video game design, because the future lies in having multiple skills together, using AI as the glue in between and expressing yourself in the most authentic way. Versus just doing one thing and one thing only for the most part.
Right. Fabulous. How do you see the Indian market in not purely in terms of business, innovation and business, and is there a huge scope for this technology to come and make a name and growth in this ecosystem in India?
I think technologies like this give countries an opportunity to change the rules of the game.
Right.
And transform and play a very different role than how the world has been. So if you historically think about it, a small island of England adopted the Industrial Revolution technology and became Great Britain, right? That is the potential of this revolution. Can countries like India and others completely lead on this technology? And we have the talent and manpower and skill set to do that. But if we embrace it and lead the wave, anything is possible. You can completely reimagine the role India plays at the world level, and what a great opportunity.
Right. Now I'll come back to a question that is the journey. Automation Anywhere, very interesting name. So tell us the story behind this. You've crafted a wonderful organization over 2 decades. You've been doing great work. So how did this journey unfold? And if we look at the future, is there something exciting coming up from the stables of automation?
Both questions are important. The first is why, and then what is next.
Right.
I grew up in a small town in India, and when I one of those small towns where I hadn't seen a computer until I was ready to go to the college.
Right.
And then when I had the opportunity to see a computer, I was lucky enough to have 5 multi-billion-dollar journey and work at various companies in Silicon Valley. So when I had to create the 6th company, I thought, what makes sense to do? And I went back to my roots, that if computer wasn't introduced to me, I wouldn't be able to avail all the opportunities I have. So can we create a set of technology, call it the next computing, so that the next generation has the same opportunity that I had? As a result, we decided to invent a series of technologies. One of them was called robotic process automation and few others. But the objective was to reallocate intellectual capacity of the planet so that we are focused on more worthy things that we have put on this planet. We can put our intellect to better use, and how can these technologies help us do that?
Right.
So that was the genesis of the birth of it, and that mission continues to enable people everywhere and reimagine possibilities. In terms of what is coming next, some of the development that we are announcing are groundbreaking. It is something that we thought it might take 3 years, and we are ready to announce them today. We had imagined this possibility where work happens very differently. Let me take an example of something that we have seen in sci-fi movies. So if you take an example of a Star Trek,
right? When
a Star Trek or any science fiction movies, if captain says computer reconfigure deflector shield and something else, you don't see a developer coming to the captain and saying, Captain, that takes 6 months. And IT doesn't come to the captain and say, what you just said takes 3 months, right? What happens in 21st century is you say in a natural language, dynamically workflows are created, and they are so trusted that they are executed right away. And it doesn't take 1 year to do that work.
Right.
And we thought, that would be the cool future. It would be entertaining future. It would be the fun future, instead of working for 1 year to achieve that outcome. What we are announcing today is we had this groundbreaking moment where now we are announcing a model, a process model, that will allow users to do just that. I think from this point onwards, the future of work does not remain the same. The fact that you can just talk to a computer and it will dynamically do the work that you ask it to do will change everything going forward. Right. Think about this. This is the beginning of an unlimited workforce. And that's very profound. In our entire human civilization, we have taken a constraint of a limited workforce.
Right.
If you expand the possibility of an unlimited workforce, what is that we cannot do?
Absolutely. Right.
That constraint is gone.
Right.
And that is this moment that will shape the future of virtually every industry.
Right. And that's a complete disruption in digital transformation. We're just waiting to see, what happens, what unfolds.
Yeah.
One last question, Mihir. You've been on the forefront of innovation. You've held leadership positions in reputed organization. As a leader, obviously nowadays, when especially in the tech ecosystem where the change is accelerating, leaders have to get skilled. Even them have to look at skills to ensure that they are at par with the technology. What is one advice you would give to budding leaders if they want to get into a wonderful journey that you have created, get on those lines?
I think commitment, lifelong commitment to learning and learning organization. We live in a world where AI learns every second, every minute of the day. That is one of our core capabilities. I think days where you graduate from learning and then you work are gone.
Right.
I think you need a commitment to lifelong curiosity and learning. And that will allow us to shape the future that is consistent with our values.
Right. Here on that note, thank you very much for your wonderful insights. It was a pleasure chatting with you. Thank you for your time.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.